Alright guys, so here we are in the grotto, just hanging out. Got a couple of my things I like to eat when I'm watching movies. I got pretzels, love pretzels a lot, they go hand in hand with drinking beer. I've got Labatt Blue, it's one of my favorite beers if I'm just kind of chilling, you know, on a cheap budget, want to put back quite a few beers. My go-to is kind of Labatt Blue. I grew up in New England for 19 years of my life before I moved down to Virginia. So living close to the Canadian border, I've always really enjoyed Canadian beers quite a bit. I think they're a little bit thicker, a little bit more heavier of a beer than most American beers, but they have a kind of a sweetness to them that I enjoy. So yeah, that's one of my go-tos. Not too expensive. It's pretty much standard price that you'd pay for a 6-pack of American beer, but I just find it to be a little bit better than most American beers. And then I have the beer today that I'm going to be doing my review on, and that is a locally crafted beer. It's called Blonde Honey. Yeah. Let's see what it says here. All right, so it says here, an unfiltered Belgian-style blonde ale with wheat, and a lot of honey in every pour. We have also added a special spice blend to give it an added kick. Smooth and refreshing, this beer is straw yellow in color, with a slight sweetness in the middle and estery finish, characteristics of the best Belgian beers. If the yeast has settled, swirl your pour. And this beer is locally brewed at Wild Wolf Brewing Company in Nellyford, Virginia. So it's pretty close by. I've been there before, and I've had it. I've had it on draft. I've never had it in the can before. So I'm interested to see if it tastes the same. Sometimes when they put stuff in the cans, it's got kind of like a metallic aftertaste to it. So I'm going to crack it open and see how it tastes, and I'll let you all know what it tastes like. All right, let's give it a little taste here. Pretty good. It's really, it tastes, like your standard wheat beer. It's kind of got like a citrus taste to it. So you can definitely taste the citrus tones in it. It's not overly strong, so it tastes like a lager, but it's also at the same time kind of tastes like a wheat beer. Really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not really tasting the honey. Maybe, maybe it's settled to the bottom or something. But, yeah, I definitely taste the citrus tones to it. It's pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. So yeah, this is the beer that I'm trying out tonight. It's 6.7%, or I'm sorry, 6.8%. So, with these heavier beers, these higher percentage beers, I'm not really going to be pounding these things back. Yeah, as I've gotten older, I don't really enjoy getting drunk. I kind of just drink to relax. I have a couple of ones just to kind of, mellow out after a long day. But I'm not really too big on getting drunk anymore. I'm kind of past that phase of my life. That's kind of where the Labatt Blue comes in. I pretty much just drink craft beer for the taste now. But that's just me. But yeah, I do enjoy eating pretzels with my drinks when I'm watching a movie. So right now I'm watching Alice, Sweet Alice. Picked this up this week. So this movie came in the mail. Pretty cool movie. But yeah. That's my beer review. And I'm going to be doing more of these. So if you like these videos, tune in every Saturday and I'll be doing a different beer review. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite beer is, your casual drinking beer, and then your, craft beer of choice, or your beer that you kind of just like to have every once in a while. All right, guys, tune in for the next part of my video. All right, guys, here with another Blu-ray haul. So this week I picked up 12 movies. Bought some of them on eBay, and some of them I picked up at Walmart. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. Picked a couple up today. I'm sorry, I picked them up a couple days ago from eBay. Darkman 2. I already own Darkman 1 from the Scream Factory release. Waited a long time to get this movie. Yeah, it doesn't have that many special features on it. Audio commentary with director Bradford May. Television cut of the film featuring alternate and extended scenes. And they're in standard definition. Comes with a trailer and then a VHS promo. But other than that, this is pretty much just a bare bone release. Yeah. I don't think it was worth the $20 that I spent on it, but I had to have the film. It's one of the... I love Darkman. It's one of my favorite film franchises. There was only 3 films, but out of the 3 films, I love them all. Out of the 3 of them, I think Darkman 2 is kind of the weakest of the entries. And I'll get into that when I start talking about Darkman 3 and kind of why I like Darkman 3 better than Darkman 2. But, yeah. I'm glad to have this as part of my collection. I'm kind of... wish it wasn't $20. I think that Darkman 2 and Darkman 3, if they didn't have the ability to get special features for this, I feel like they should have, you know, put them on a double feature. Doubled them up would have been better. But yeah, Darkman 2, The Return of Durant. With Darkman 2, I went ahead and got Darkman 3, Die Darkman Die. Another great film. This one has even less special features. So this one's got audio commentary with director Bradford May and the trailer. And that is it. This is a bare bones Scream Factory release. I don't know how they can get away with... I don't know how they can get away with this, honestly. From my understanding, I've heard a lot of complaints on the Scream Factory Facebook page. People complaining that it's not worth $20. That they're the $20 asking price they're asking for. And I've been watching on Amazon for months now. Ever since they've released this, I've been watching for that price to drop. The lowest I've seen it go to is $17. And honestly, it's not worth the $17 price tag. Neither one of them are. They're great films, but they don't have any special features at all. They easily could have put these two together, double feature release, and I would have been happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they have their separate, Blu-ray cases, but the $20 price tag, not worth it. But yeah, so Die Darkman 3, some of you all may know this. They made these two films kind of like back-to-back, and from my understanding, they made Die Darkman Die 3 first. And because they originally couldn't get Larry Drake to come on board for a sequel, so they made this one first. And since they were making them at the same time, they made this one first, Die Darkman 3 first. And then they went and made this one. So they were kind of working them on them at the same time. And then, from my understanding, reading online, they decided to release this one first. Even though they made Die Darkman 3 first, they released Darkman 2 first. So I think Die Darkman 3 is the better film out of the two, in my opinion. I think it's got a cooler story. I'm just kind of like, I don't know what it is about it. I just like the story better. I like the way they wrap up the 3 movies and this one. It's just a cool movie. I don't know what else really to say about it. I really like Jeff Fahey's villain in this role. The role that he plays in this movie, I think is pretty cool. I just like that it's different than the other two. I feel like Die Darkman 2 was kind of just like a rip-off of the first one. It was kind of like just cashing in, trying to make a little cash on it. And, Larry Drake returns. He comes out of his coma. And, Darkman is supposed to be the central character in these films. And they kind of made Larry Drake the central character in this film. And then with Die Darkman 3, they went back to Darkman being the center of the film. That's kind of what I like about this film. So yeah, those are these two films. I picked these up. Like I said, $20 each. I mean, I had to. Not happy that I had to pay $20 each for them, but need to have them in my collection. I've got the DVDs already, but they're really horrible quality. So these are definitely a good upgrade in quality. So I haven't opened these up yet, but I'm going to check them out. Alright. I also picked up Dead Time Stories. Bought this off eBay as well. It's an anthology film. I have not seen this yet, so I'm very anxious to open this up and just dive right in and see what it's about. This is pretty cool. It comes with special features, new high-def transfer from the original camera negative, new interviews with Melissa Leo and Scott Valentine, new audio commentary with director Jeffrey Delman. It's got a pretty cool write-up in the back. It says, official entry at the 1986 Tokyo International Fantastic Film Festival. Recipient of the Silver Certificate of Achievement from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. I love anthology films. So this is a blind buy for me. I've never seen this movie before. I've heard a lot of good reviews about it. I like Creepshow, Creepshow 2, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. I just love anthology films. So I'm glad to have this in my collection. I'm sure I'm going to love it from what I've read online. Yeah. I might watch this later on tonight. Check it out. All right. A couple of movies here that I picked up from Walmart. And that is the first one, Blade Runner, the original. Another cool film. It's a pretty... I am into sci-fi films. This is kind of a sci-fi fantasy type film. A lot of people have seen this before. It's directed by Ridley Scott. He did Aliens. Yeah, awesome film. Harrison Ford, one of his earlier films that he made. Really far out there movie. If you haven't seen this before, I highly recommend check it out. And then we got Blade Runner 2049. This is the 4K release of it. Picked this up at Walmart when I bought Blade Runner, the final cut. It's pretty good. I mean, it's got a ton of special features on it. Familiarize yourself with the world of Blade Runner, the recipient, replicant evolution, Blade Runners, the rise of Wallace Corp, Welcome to 2049, Within the Skies, Spinners, Pilot Fish, and Barracudas. And then it says, your entry into the visionary spectacle, designing the world of Blade Runner 2049, to be human, casting Blade Runner 2049. And then it's got some prologues, 2022, Blackout, 2036, Nexus Dawn, 2048, Nowhere to Run. So I think it's like little, kind of like intros to the movie, like kind of what happened in between the original Blade Runner and this. So that's kind of cool. Kind of explain some things that happened. Yeah, this movie is freaking badass. Okay, I've read some things online about it. Basically, you know, when this movie got released, it had a very limited run in the movie theaters. I mean, it is ridiculously long. It's 164 minutes long. So this is like almost 3 hours long. Okay. And it's a really, I mean, you've seen the first one, you know, already kind of know what to expect. I mean, it is out there. It's some really bizarre stuff happening in this movie. So yeah, they're basically genetically modifying humans to be like workers in the future. So basically they had some genetically modified humans that were kind of like going rogue. They were doing things they weren't supposed to do. So then they set out these Blade Runners to go and kind of assassinate them. And that's what Ryan Gosling's character does. He goes and hunts down these old genetically modified humans. And eventually, like halfway through the film, he ends up meeting up with Harrison Ford's character, the original Blade Runner, Rick Deckard. And basically, them two kind of like team up for a little bit. And then you got basically the protagonist in the film. What the heck's his name? God, I can't remember what his name is. This guy right here, I'm sorry, I can't remember what his name is. I mean, the main protagonist in the film, he's kind of weird. He's like he's like playing God when he's creating these, you know, genetically modified humans. So, you know, he's basically executing these ones that are like not compliant. And he's, I don't want to ruin the film. I'm kind of in spoiler territory right now. But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, I definitely highly recommend you go out and check it out. It was a little pricey. I think it was about $24, $25, but yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I definitely recommend checking it out. Got another movie off of eBay, and that is The Cell. I really wanted this movie for a while. I really dig this film. I'm not a big fan of Jennifer Lopez, you know, of her being a musician and everything. I don't like her music or anything. And in general, I haven't really liked any of her films to this point. But she does a good job in this movie. I have to give her that. This is a really good movie. And It kind of reminds me of Hellraiser a little bit. It's like a basically like a crime movie, kind of like cat and mouse, trying to catch the killer type thing. But it's also got some like supernatural elements to it too. She goes into this. They basically, she's a detective, and she goes into a well, she's not a detective. She's kind of like a criminal psychologist, and she basically gets into the minds of criminals. And so basically, they put her under hypnosis. They put her in this hook her up to this machine that lets her kind of get induced into a coma, and then they hook her up to the killer. So he's in a coma as well, and the killer is the only one who knows where his captives are, and so she's hooked up to him, and she can get into his head and kind of see, you know, in his dreams what he's doing, and she's trying to find out where he's holding these captives. Really crazy movie, really out there, but I mean, it's awesome. Kind of reminds me of Hellraiser a little bit. If you get a chance, check it out. I think you will enjoy it. Yeah, I ordered a couple, 3 movies from 88 Films. A really good company. They're a UK company. A lot of their movies are Region B locked. So in order to watch their movies, you're going to have to get a Region Free or Region B Blu-ray player. I've got my PS3 and my PS4, plus I've got an Xbox as well. I play all my, you know, USA releases, Region A releases on those, and then I also got picked up about a year ago. I picked up a region-free Blu-ray player. It was definitely worth the investment because there's a lot of good movies that get released that if you don't have the region-free, you're shit out of luck. So I had to get it because I mean I love 88 Films releases. So yeah, the first film I picked up was Alice, Sweet Alice, and this one comes here with a sleeve. So right now I think these are actually the sleeves are out of print. So they do like a limited run of the sleeves, usually for about a month or until they're sold out. So the first 1,000 copies are going to be with sleeves, and then after that you're just getting them basically with the without the sleeve, which is unfortunate. But I was lucky enough to be able to get the sleeve with this. I don't, like I said in other videos, I don't really care if I get the sleeve one way or another. It's nice to have a sleeve, but I'm not a completionist. I don't have to have it. But anyways, yeah, this is a pretty cool movie. I'm actually in the process right now of watching it. I watched a little bit of it earlier. I'm kind of still watching it. It's kind of like a murder mystery. It's just a really bizarre film. It's these 2 sisters. One of them gets killed in the beginning. And then the other sister is kind of like, she becomes a suspect, and they don't know if it's the little girl, the sister, or if it's basically somebody else doing it. And so kind of it's a murder mystery slasher. That's pretty much it. Pretty cool film. I enjoy it. Yeah, that's Alice, Sweet Alice. And then I got a Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Now this is a 88 Films exclusive to their website. So you can't get this anywhere else. And you have to order it directly from their website. Yeah, and every copy that they do from their website with this particular release comes with a slipcover, so you don't have to worry about running out of slipcovers with this. So I find that to be pretty cool. But yeah, this is a pretty cool film too. This is a pretty tame slasher. Came out in 1986. It's one of the more obscure titles. Most people haven't really heard about this too much. It's just a really creepy film. It's kind of like a Psycho meets I don't know. It's like Psycho, but with a female character. She basically runs these motels. Early in the film, she basically kills her daughter. She just freaks out. They don't really explain why. She's out there gardening, whatever, and I mean, she might be psychotic or something like that, but she's out there gardening, and her daughter's inside in this rocking chair. Kind of sit there with a little doll, just kind of rocking back and forth. And next thing you know, the mother's out there. She's freaking out. She ends up killing a freaking a guinea pig that gets loose. Runs inside and yells at her daughter because she let her guinea pig out, and ends up killing her daughter. And then the police and the ambulances arrive, and they don't think anything is going on. The daughter's got a slit throat, but it can't be the mother. I mean, there's nobody else around. They're in the middle of nowhere. It's got to be the mother. But for some reason, they don't really they don't investigate it at all. So anyways, you fast forward in the movie, and basically she's got these underground little taverns, little like tunnels underneath the motel. And so these people that come in to stay in the motel, they're just traveling through the area, stopping in the motel. The motels are like these really trashy, rundown motels. I mean, there's got cockroaches in them. They got rats. She's basically taking these snakes and everything and letting them loose in the motel to kind of torture the people that are staying there. But it's just a really bizarre film. It's there's like maybe 2 or 3 kills in this, and they're not really slasher kills. She slits this guy's throat with a I don't even know what it is. She just slits this guy's throat, whatever, and it's just a bizarre film. I mean, check it out. I mean, I dig it. It's just one of those films. If you just really like bizarre, obscure horror films, check it out. But it's not really. It's a really weird slasher movie, and I don't really know if it's even a slasher movie. It's kind of like a character study of a psychotic person. That's the best way I can explain it. Then I picked up Offerings, another blind buy. I've never seen this one before. It's the first time I've ever seen it, so I'm gonna check it out and tell you all what I think. But I like the cover art. It says, "Remember him before he dismembers you." So yeah, it's got a brand new 2K restoration from the original 16mm negative, uncompressed dual mono audio, trailer, optional English subtitles, audio commentary by the slasher loving podcast The Hysteria Continues, and it's got reversible sleeve. So yeah, all the 88 films releases all have reversible art similar to Scream Factory, which I really dig. So I'll just pop this open real quick for some of you who haven't seen. This one's got it's got the red case, which you all see, the Blu-ray here, and they all come with these little books too, which is pretty cool. And it's kind of like just a little write-up of the release. And then if you pop it open, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's basically got this reversible art here. This one in particular is, even though it says reversible art, it's the same artwork except where it doesn't have the rating on the front. It's got a couple other things that they've taken off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of the other ones do have actual different art though, which is pretty cool. All right, I also picked up from Walmart Phantasm Remastered, another classic movie. I love this movie a lot. Been kind of holding off from getting this film. There's just been other films that I've been wanting to get. It's not one of my favorite movies, but I definitely love this movie. So I went on the cheap with this one. Sometimes I'll just buy, like, if I like the movie, but I'm not like a hardcore fan of it, I'll buy like the cheapest version of it, just kind of save money for other movies that I want to buy. And I picked this up from Walmart for $9.99. So this is a pretty cheap buy for me, and I'm pretty happy that I got it for that cheap. It is the remastered version, so I'm sure it's going to look really good. It doesn't look like it has too many special features on it. It looks like an audio commentary, new Graveyard Cars episode, interview from 1979. That's got to be pretty cool. Deleted scenes, got a new surround sound mix, and some trailers on it. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, Phantasm Remastered. I'm very excited to have this in my collection. Alright, so here's another one I picked up the same day I got Phantasm. I picked this one up too, and this is a blind buy for me. Never seen this movie. I've heard some things about it. It's from the creators of Evil Dead, and that is Don't Breathe. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the write-ups on this thing, it says, from the creators of Evil Dead, Don't Breathe, and it says here, and I quote, the best American horror film in 20 years. And whoever this guy is, Jim Hemphill from Filmmaker Magazine. I don't know who this guy is, never heard of him. I mean, I keep up with all these reviewers and stuff, because I mean, I'm interested to hear what they have to say, especially if it's a movie that I've never seen before and I want like an honest review of a movie, and I've never heard of this guy. It says certified fresh from RottenTomatoes.com. I've seen this on several Blu-rays, and even though they say certified fresh from RottenTomatoes.com, this movie is not good. And I'll get into that a little bit. But it says the best twist in years. Turns the home invasion thriller into an art form. Okay. It's loaded up with special features, but I guess the special features make up for the horrible movie that it is. Um, I, I'm sorry, but this is just a bad movie. Um, I'm gonna have to watch it a few more times to see if I like it. But basically, it's like these teenagers or people in their early 20s. Um, they're just some rejects. They just go around robbing people. These three kids and this girl, this kind of like I don't know, this like shy kid. He's kind of like she's this girl here. She basically friend blocked him. Yeah, I mean, and then you get this other guy who's basically like this douchebag. I just can't wait for him to get killed off in the movie. And this one guy is just horrible actor. Just thinks he's hot shit. I mean, he's just annoying as hell. And this whole movie is it's just not good. They hyped it up on the Blu-ray release because probably it didn't have a very good theatrical release, and so they wanted to make their money back on it by hyping it up, and that's what a lot of these movies do. This is nowhere anywhere good as Evil Dead. Okay, I know it's got the same people that made the remake of Evil Dead, but this is nowhere near as good. This is garbage. I'm sorry, but I don't know who thinks this movie's good. If you like it, I apologize. It's just not my cup of tea. Lastly, I picked up Star Wars The Last Jedi on 4K on opening night at Walmart. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've been watching Star Wars. I think the first Star Wars film that I saw was The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi. The Return of the Jedi. I saw that one back in the day when I was a little kid. It was the first Star Wars movie that I was ever introduced to, and then I just kind of started to watch all of them. I love the original trilogy. I do like the prequel trilogy. I think it gets a lot of heat that it doesn't deserve. But these new films, The Force Awakens was okay. I thought it was a pretty decent film. This one is not bad as well. The first part of the movie is badass, and then like the middle of the movie is kind of slow. Honestly, it's like you're just kind of waiting for the middle part of the movie to be over with. And then you get to the grand finale in this film, which I know a lot of people hate, but I love the ending of this movie. It's so freaking badass. Yeah, I think overall it's a good movie. I think it's got some pacing issues. It's like they didn't know what to do in the middle part of the film, so they kind of just... I don't know. I don't know what they did with the middle part of the film, but it's just boring as hell. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but yeah, I think this movie's all right. It's not as good as the originals, and I think even the prequels are probably better than this one, in my opinion. But it's certainly not a bad film. It's okay. I like it. It's just the middle part of the movie kind of drags for me. But yeah. Pretty cool release. It's a 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and digital. And it's got like an embossed artwork on it and everything, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And that's what I got. Alright guys, that's all I picked up this week. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy these films, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're interested in watching more future videos. And drop me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite beer is. What's your favorite movie? I'm really interested to hear from people. All right, until next time, guys. Take it easy.